everybody, Rebekah Valentine here from IGN. I am here with Miranda Sanchez, who tells me she just got to see a hands-off demonstration of the upcoming Animal Crossing New Horizons 3.0 and Switch 2 update. Miranda, hi!
Hi, hello. It's been a bit since we've gotten to do anything together, so I was really excited to have an excuse. And even a better excuse, it's new Animal Crossing, which is still, like, wild. Like, it was a random Thursday morning, and they're like, here you guys go. I was like, what?
I'm so excited. We were saying before we started this that we are just really excited to actually have an excuse to get back to Animal Crossing after all this time. Yes. Like you said, it came out of nowhere. We should go through like what all you saw and what this update actually entails. Like, what's like the biggest centerpiece of this update?
I would say that for just if I'm writing a headline kind of deal, this one's for the decorators. And I know that has been a bit of a maybe bummer for some folks because it's like, oh, I don't necessarily love decorating. It's like, well, that's what this is. So like there are some other little updates. I would say between the two, the most exciting thing is the 3.0 free update rather than the Nintendo Switch 2 version updates that they have going on. 3.0 really does feel like an extra component to like making the Switch 2 version a little bit more worthwhile in a way. I guess if we want to go right into like what's the biggest thing that's coming, which is the hotel. So this is part of the 3.0 update, which you can get on any system. So it doesn't matter if you're on a Nintendo Switch Lite or on the Switch 2 version.
And it's
you're
free,
gonna get the
right?
hotel. Yes, so this is a free update. Everything here, except for the Switch 2 version, is free, which is really nice. So the hotel is basically another chance at Happy Home Paradise, which again was something that I think some folks are bummed out. I'm not, because I love Happy Home Paradise. I got to see kind of like an extra look at this. What we saw in the presentation in the reveal trailer really showed that, like, you know, it's his Kapp'n's family running this, so it gets docked on the pier. We got a little extra context during the presentation, which it said basically that like any other facility, this is something you unlock and it's not optional. So wherever your pier is, you will not be able to move the hotel. It's just going to exist there. Yeah, so I know some folks in the community were a little worried. It's like, my aesthetic just doesn't match this. It's like, well, yeah, but I think the benefits sort of outweigh it a little bit because you're going to get, along with the update, I guess kind of pairs with the hotel, is there's bulk crafting, which is like, this should have been there forever.
Gosh.
Right? So we didn't actually get to see a lot of the bulk crafting in the actual demo, which is a bit unfortunate. You'll hear me say this a lot. We didn't see this in the demo, which was unfortunate. But we do know it's there and will be helpful and has been a long desired feature for Animal Crossing because it just makes sense. I didn't want to make more than one of a lot of things. So that's going to be there. For the actual hotel, the main activity that you'll be doing is decorating rooms. So what we saw for now, it looked like there were some menus we weren't allowed to see yet, but there are 8 rooms that you can decorate. And when you go to decorate them, you have either a list of themes to choose from, or you can decorate without a theme. The key benefit of decorating with the theme is that you're going to get a selection of items that match that theme, whether or not you've actually collected them. So say in our demo they showed a cute theme, just like the cute hearts and the pink. And so if you hadn't collected those, you still have them to use for this room, but you're not required to use them, which is very different from Happy Home Paradise, where you're required to use like a few things from your client. But this one, since your client is just somebody sometime, you know, like just a random villager, you don't have any restrictions. So I really liked seeing that. You get to be a little bit more creative with these rooms and you can kind of just go at it in whatever way you want. And then you'll also be rewarded tickets once per day for decorating, it seems like. So you can keep decorating. You'll only get rewarded once per day though.
I will say this does sound a lot like Happy Home Paradise, but I'm considered myself less of a decorator going into Happy Home Paradise. It wasn't, my favorite thing about Animal Crossing, but I played through Happy Home Paradise, and actually being handed a theme and some tools to work with really helped me get into it. And it helped me sort of see like, okay, let me actually try to think of good design principles and things like that. And so I ended up really enjoying Happy Home Paradise, even though decorating is not my speed. And so I'm actually kind of weirdly excited just to have more rooms to decorate, even though I've kind of already done this a bunch of times.
I think it'll be really nice for the folks who also didn't get Happy Home Paradise.
Sure,
Like,
yeah.
for whatever reason, they can just kind of like tinker with it and maybe get bitten by the decorating bug like you did.
Yeah.
And also for me, it feels like a justification for collecting everything. It's like, okay, I have all these items. They don't actually match my island, which is the theme of Twin Peaks. And there's a lot that does not match. And I'm like pretty strict. It's like, this does not belong in the double R, so it's not going on my island, you know? And that's kind of a bummer sometimes, but these do provide like a really nice creative outlet for that. Another thing with the hotel is that since you'll have visitors, these tourists will also roam your island, so you can just go talk to them. So this is one thing we did get to see is like when you first meet them, they're just named tourist, and then they'll introduce themselves, which is like just a cute little touch. And then on the ground floor in the hotel, you'll also see two mannequins that you can change. And whatever outfits you put there are the outfits that tourists will wear walking around your island.
So you can make them look really silly if you want.
Exactly. And they're really identifiable. So it's like quick to spot. It's like, wait, who's that on my island? It's like, oh, it's like a visitor. So I think this will just be like a nice way to keep islands feeling a little bit more lively and getting more options. It wasn't really clear if you can for sure get these tourists to move on to your island if you see someone come through that you really wanted on your island. But the person who was kind of running the demo said like, well, if you talk to them, you might be able to persuade them. So we only saw like the introduction with the tourists and not any extra conversation. So
That sounds like a yes to me, honestly.
yeah. Yeah, I was gonna say, all right, I see what you're putting down.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. That's like a nice way to get potentially 8 new people on your island and be like, do I want any of you guys here? Like, I'm ready to switch this other person out. You know, that's just like another really nice way to get people in.
Yeah. I did want to go back to the tickets really quick. So you're spending those tickets, I presume, on new decorative items that you can then take back to the rest of your island, right?
Yeah, so that's another exciting thing with the hotel. If again you like decorating or curating themes, which I would assume there's like some level of that. The hotel has its own currency, which are called tickets, which I know it's like, yeah, another currency,
Sure.
but it's not that. It's like another thing to chase, right? Like if you have a ton of bells, then you could just get everything immediately.
Yeah.
So it's like not as fun, I would say. So with tickets, you can buy like hotel memorabilia. Like they have, I think, I saw like some mugs. You can get like a towel rack for the hotel. It's just really cute stuff. But then they also have other things. Like they showed it in the presentation where they have the old Nintendo systems where if you have the Nintendo Switch Online membership, you can play old games on those systems.
I think that's so funny because that was something that everybody wanted so badly, despite the fact that Nintendo Switch Online existed. Like, this is kind of a feature that's been in past Animal Crossing games, playing these retro games within the game.
Yeah.
And I think people were joking for a long time that they should just integrate Switch Online into this. And the fact that they actually did it is incredible to me. I love it so much.
Me too. It's just like such a nice. I just want to stay here. Don't make me leave. But I do want to play Dr. Mario for a minute, you know?
Yeah.
So,
especially in the fantasy of my Animal Crossing character playing Dr. Mario. I don't know. There's just something to that.
Yes. So you'll find things like that. We didn't get to see the full list, but there seems to be quite a lot and some like new colors for existing items and plenty of new items as well. I saw some new foliage or like plants too. And
Foliage.
I was like, yes. I want plants. That's what I want. I just want plants.
I have a very naturey island, so that's exciting to me.
Yeah, you gotta get the green to brighten up your rooms. That's all I'm gonna say. You know, it's just a design thing. So tickets may be a little annoying, but you'll get those. Also, if you deliver items to a box, you'll have like 3 items requested, and you have to craft. And Kapp'n will go sell them off somewhere, and you'll get tickets in return. So that's like another way to just constantly make tickets.
Also probably motivates you to do more crafting, because if you've been playing this game for a while, you're probably not doing a whole lot of crafting anymore.
Yeah, I'd like to think you probably have hoarded a lot of resources, and now you're ready to go. So maybe that cabinet you never crafted or didn't care about, you have a reason to craft it now.
Yeah.
So
the hotel's the main thing, but I understand that there's like some new Amiibo functionality as well.
yeah, so I'm so excited. They're bringing Zelda back into Animal Crossing. So this has been here before, and we're so excited to see it back. We get 2 new villagers, I guess like islanders, residents, whatever you want to call them. We're going to have Tulin and Minoru. And then for Splatoon, they added Cece and Viche, which is really cool. but it does not seem like they have unique dialogue just based on their introductions and the video, which it's like, oh, it's a little bit of a bummer, but still cool to have them potentially as residents. They also did clarify during the demo that when you scan an amiibo, it has to be any from those respective franchise. So any Zelda amiibo, it doesn't need to be anything related to Legend, like Tears of the Kingdom specifically, any Zelda game. They'll work, which is good because it's like, oh, do I have to go buy specific ones? You do not. Unless you don't have any amiibo, then you kind of need to get one. But for Splatoon, it's the same thing. So any Splatoon amiibo will work. I think based on what they said, like you could just have one of each, and then when you scan, you'll get one of the characters, but it's not certain which one. So it's kind of like a little bit of a or B. But then they will also unlock a bunch of new items, and they said all of the items are interactive, and they look so cute. So I think this could be fun, just like playable things to have on your island if you care about either of those franchises, which I really care about Zelda. So I was like, this is for me. And then Splatoon, less so, but I love the aesthetic of Splatoon, so I'm definitely going to just go pick up a Splatoon amiibo specifically for this.
I love how I wouldn't call these characters like deep cuts or anything, but it's not like the characters they picked to add are not like the obvious ones that you would pick. Like we're not getting like a Link and Zelda stand-in. We're getting like Tulin and Minoru, who are frankly great, like two of my favorites in Tears of the Kingdom, but just like delightful choices, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I was especially excited to see Minoru. I was like, that's so cool. Like, thank you for getting a little creative and not, as you said, doing the obvious choice. But that's kind of it for the amiibo, but I like that they added them.
Yeah, that's all right. And I'm not surprised they don't have unique personalities. I feel like if they had given them unique personalities, I would have been mad because then I would have wanted more villagers with those personalities.
Exactly.
Yeah. So the thing that I was really excited about when they announced this is they're bringing back the dream function.
Yes, so in addition to having dream addresses for visiting others, we now have Slumber Islands.
So this is a Nintendo Switch Online only feature, so you do have to have a subscription active in order to access this. But what you get are 3 island saves, and you can make a small, medium, or large island in each of these saves, which is really cool because basically you just get another island to decorate, and then you can have friends visit. It looks like you can have other folks visit. I don't know if it works like the other islands where you can just be offline and someone can come hop on your island and tour it with the codes that they have now, but it's just another nice way to either make a game or make something weird. Like the community is so creative, and like I've seen so many wild clips of like weird places. Like I think I saw someone make a horse race of an island.
What?
So they just got a bunch of horse villagers and then they made them race, and then like casting
gosh.
over it. It was like crazy. I was like, what is happening?
Wow.
It was really funny. But then, of course, there's like mazes and you can make haunted houses. There's just so much you can do. But for someone like me who has a very strict island theme and I kind of want to just keep building on it, it provides a place for creativity where I can just, use that Godzilla-like monster item that I have and not just put it to like one corner of the island because it's not really supposed to be there in Twin Peaks, so there's no Godzillas in Twin Peaks. But I can have another island and do that. So that's something I'm really excited is just to have this. I did follow up and ask. I was like, hey guys, we gotta know, are there new custom design save slots? Unfortunately, there are not. They said what we have is what it is. If you guys haven't used these, if you don't know what they are or use them very much, you got it, unlocked it, said, all right, cool. This is where a lot of, I think, the really creative folks will download a bunch of different designs so that they can customize, say, like pathways, building sides, signs, all those sorts of things. But that does sort of limit what you can do on these 3 islands, since it's going to be everything you have is what you can use. So if you change your designs, you can kind of mess up other designs elsewhere. So that is something to consider, but there's still a lot. So I'm hoping it'll still be okay for folks. But the nice thing with these islands is that they said anything you do there does not impact your real island. So you can just kind of go wild with it. And your items that you use there won't like take up items elsewhere. It's just your full category of what you've unlocked. and you can just run with it. So it'll be kind of cool.
I'm hoping this sort of renews some of the really excited spirit around New Horizons when it first came out, where people were making like mazes and fun little things for other people. But I think some people were discouraged from going to other people's islands and playing those games because you could kind of mess up people's islands. Like you could dig holes or like do things that were annoying to them. And so it feels like this dream space is maybe a way to do that a little more safely, perhaps.
Potentially, yeah, but then also you can invite friends and have them completely like destroy your island if they wanted to, because they can have permissions to like excavate, and like you can make something with others too, which I think is really cool. So if you have, you know, a friend across the world and you really wanted to make something with them, then you can do that and have it be like a more cooperative thing rather than just like a solo, I built most of this, but you can, you know, kind of help a little bit. So that's another cool feature of it that I kind of forget about, but is really neat, actually.
That's really exciting. I'm glad you brought it up. I was worried I had imagined it.
No, yeah. It's weird. I think the announcement came, it was October 30th, so it's been a bit of time since we had that. But I think it'll be really nice to just be able to teamwork it with other folks if that's something that you're trying to work toward. Like if there's
it's like the first time we've been able to build on an island with our friends together, right? Like that's not. I don't think I've ever been able to do that in Animal Crossing.
Yep. As far as I remember,
I think so. Yeah.
Yes. So they can completely mess up the terrain. I did also want to go back and say I really like that they have island sizes. So apparently the large size is close, but not quite the size of a regular island. So that gives you some scale option there. But I do like that they have a small one. So it's like if you just want a little project, you can just do a quick thing. And that's probably what I'll be doing because I'll get overwhelmed.
So we were talking about playing with friends. We should talk about this Switch 2 upgrade because it involves playing with friends, right?
Yes. It's kind of weird because it's like probably not relevant to most people playing this game, but the Switch 2 upgrade allows you to have up to 12 friends joining your island. However, they all have to have the Switch 2 upgrade.
Oh.
So they have to have a Switch 2 and the upgrade. It's like, how many people do you know right now still plays Animal Crossing and have a Switch 2? Like that's a tough ask, I think.
Yeah.
so it's, I think, setting the stage for like things later on that, you know, right now at least they have at least 12 people, so it is an increase. And if you do have, say, an ongoing Animal Crossing group, if everyone upgraded their systems, that is like a nice thing. But if you do that, I saw when they activated it, you have to choose either a regular session or the 12-player. So you have to very specifically say, sorry,
Nintendo,
you know, regular Switch friends, you're getting kicked out. Like, you can't join. This is for, you know, Nintendo Switch 2 people only.
That's so weird.
It's a bit clunky. Yeah. I guess kind of keeping on the theme of the Switch 2 upgrade, that's kind of the big thing. It's the graphics and improved loading, which is, you know, that's nice.
Yeah.
The only other thing is the megaphone, which...
Yes. I'm so glad this is coming back. It's so dumb.
It is, but it's also kind of silly because it's not like it's a magical megaphone. So like if a villager is inside their house, they can't hear it, so they're not going to respond. So it's just like a nice little, here's this back. Okay.
This existed in, it was New Leaf, right? That we had.
I think
this was the DS and the microphone. I have just this very strong memory of sitting in my dorm room in college, like yelling, "Cherry, Cherry," into my DS. And nothing happening because but you didn't know because either she was in her house and couldn't hear me or the microphone just like wasn't working. So I'm hoping this works a little better, but that's so funny that that's coming back.
Yeah, they mentioned that they could also be out of range, so that could just be a thing. If they're like on the northeast side of your island and you're on the southwest side, they're probably not going to hear you. So you just have to like run around, keep yelling. But that is kind of a funny, cute thing to have.
Wait, so how much does this cost though?
So the upgrade pack is only $5, which is pretty reasonable, I would say, for just, you know, the visual upgrade. And then, of course, some of the back-end upgrades on getting a higher multiplayer. It's not huge, but getting it up to a higher fidelity and increasing those load times is really nice. So honestly, for me, it's sort of worth paying for just because I do have like a 4K TV. It's OLED, it's fancy. And I'm like, I'd pay for that.
Yeah, it's way better price-wise than a lot of the other Switch 2 upgrades.
Some other things I didn't get to see were Rossetti. which he's not as angry. It's just kind of
He hasn't been. They keep softening him up.
Yeah, it's like, what? He's supposed to yell at me. What's happening?
I need to be put in my place.
Yeah, I think that's something we're missing is like a little bit more of the feistiness of some of these characters. So, no news on him. I didn't get to see how much storage costs. So I just know that there's more storage, which is going to be nice. And then, of course, bolt crafting, which I didn't get to see much of. But that's really the big parts. And honestly, I think the 3.0 was really just an excuse for them to add more content alongside the Switch upgrade.
Yeah.
I don't think we're going to see more. Do you think we're going to see more?
No, but also I didn't think we were going to see more before this. So I don't know. At this point, my question would be, what else could they add reasonably? Like at whatever point we're at, it should just be a new Animal Crossing, right? I don't know.
Yeah, I think that's generally what other folks are hoping for. And what I'm hoping for, too, is that at this point, we're 5 years out, almost 6. Let's just go ahead and hope that the team is able to focus on the next Animal Crossing, especially since, we got a new console. We're ready for it. And I think there's a lot of things people are hoping come back in the next Animal Crossing. And as we kind of noted, like some more of that villager variety and their personalities. I think there's some facilities we'd really love to see come back. So although I am so stoked to play this, I am also excited for whatever comes next.
Yeah, like I said before, I think for me it's mostly an excuse because I haven't played this game in a couple of years, but I put like 500 hours in when the first like year and a half that it was out, and so I think about it very nostalgically, and it's like, okay, well, there's some new stuff. I can go back, play for a few weeks or a few months, and just sort of relive that time, the good parts of it specifically.
Yeah, the good parts, which is Animal Crossing. Yeah, well, hopefully this will convince even more people. I'm going to try to bug some of my friends to come play with me because I think this is just such a nice thing. And then, of course, if we can't get friends, we'll at least have some cool tourists wandering around our island soon. So
I'll play it with you, Miranda.
Yay, thank you. So we have until January 15th of 2026 to get our islands cleaned up. So if you're going to play, that's kind of the deadline to make sure it's presentable. But also, it doesn't matter. It's your island. You do whatever you want.
I'll throw this in, guys. I hear that if you go watch the sunrise and sunset on New Year's Day, it's really cool in Animal Crossing. So maybe that's a day that you can like start sneaking in if you're tired from celebrating New Year's Eve and just want to hang out and play Animal Crossing all day.
Yeah, we're almost there.
All right, well, Miranda, thank you so much for chatting with me about this. I'm so excited.
Yeah, and thank you too. I am also really excited. If you want to kind of get a second take on this or read basically what we talked about, I do have a preview available. And of course, we will have plenty of coverage of the 3.0 and Switch 2 updates whenever they're out later next year. Wow.
Yeah, wow. Well, you heard her. If you want anything more on Animal Crossing 3.0, or anything remotely like it, keep it here at IGN.